Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my second episode of basic drawing tutorials for pencil. This is just a little recap of what I did last episode, showing you how to break things down into basic shapes. We're gonna use some of that again today. You break things down in basic shapes, and then you draw a dark outline around them, and that will draw the shapes together, make it look like a solid whole. You'll see here in a second as I put a dark outline around the guy. I'm going to go into more details on every body part later on, especially the hands, because they're so freaking hard. But I went over that a couple of times last time. Now, I'm not a famous artist or anything. I'm self-taught for the most part. I have sold a couple paintings. Okay, I've sold one painting, but I caught up to Van Gogh. He only sold one. Anyway, that was the recap for the last episode. This episode is about vanishing points, and if you notice the two X's there, those are just some example vanishing points. Usually the vanishing point's going to be off screen. You're not going to see it, but for demonstration purposes, I've put them on screen. And you see the box I'm drawing. I'm drawing a box there, and each side of the box is going towards the vanishing point. See, that helps give you perspective about, because as things go farther away, see, these are just some guidelines just to make sure that I'm following the vanishing point, and to help me draw the next box in the line. See, and that box will also correspond to the vanishing point on the other side. Notice I focus those lines, even though they're a little sloppy. Remember, these are just sketches. I'm just sketching these in to give you examples. And this one right here, this is at 2x speed, by the way, so I may outrun myself. I decided to draw one that's not directly in line with the others, to point out that the vanishing point applies no matter where the object is. See, this one's kind of uphill from the other boxes. Now, just to show that the vanishing points apply to everything, I decided to just throw in a quick car, just to show that everything goes to the vanishing point. Everything. This is just a quick sketch of a car. Obviously, I can do better than that. But in the time constraints of a tutorial video on YouTube, see, I skipped straight to the end. A vanishing point on both sides. You notice the back end of the car is wider than the other. Now, usually you don't have two vanishing points. At most, on screen, you usually only ever have one vanishing point, unless you're doing a really unique perspective for your drawing. So I'm going to use a more practical vanishing point here. Choose one vanishing point. The other one's way off in the distance, infinity to the left and right. You can't see those, and they shouldn't affect the streetscape. I'm just gonna draw a little street with some buildings. Just to point out a practical use for vanishing point on screen. This is all very sketchy right now. These are just my basic shapes. You always go back in later and draw the and darken in the lines. You add the details, stuff like that. I throw a door on this building, and as you can see, I screwed up on one side of it, but that's okay. I'll fix that later. It needs a window, and you'll notice here that I didn't use guidelines to line up the windows. I was trying to freehand it, and as you can see, it didn't work out too well. Guidelines are important, even if they're just you know. See, that's closer to the wall, so I kind of had a guideline there. So I went ahead and drew those, even though I made that one a little short. And this one is so far from the guidelines that I'm having to use the other windows as guidelines, and they're just sketches, so nothing's lining up there. I'll fix it later, don't worry about that. Trash cans. What's a city alleyway back there without a trash can? It's a big honking trash can compared to the building. Once again, I'm going to have a shading tutorial. I just couldn't stand to see it like that. Now, once again, something in front of something else is going to have a darker outline. So that trash can is in front of that building, so it's going to have a slightly darker outline than the building itself. Makes it stand out. Sometimes it's a thicker outline, sometimes just darker. But that helps bring out in your perspective that's farther. And that's crosshatch shading there. It's not a very good example of crosshatch shading because I'm doing it quick, or I'm trying to do it quick. Like I said, this video was like over an hour long originally. So we're continuing here. I decided to add a little detail to the buildings. Draw the windows from those guidelines and then just erase the guidelines. And it'll make them look a lot better. Kind of just an example of where a vanishing point used actually in the drawing could be practical. But most of the time your vanishing points are going to be off of the page, well off the page. You're not going to see them, but you are going to need to choose where they are because everything has vanishing point. I don't know why I drew that arrow again. Not really sure at all. I may end up finishing this sketch just off camera and going back to it and just finishing out the city street because I kind of like how it looks in the background. I'm going to show some practical examples of vanishing points I've used in finished pieces of art. Oh, here's where I added some textured shading. I added a little bit of a stucco kind of curled shade in front of that building. The pencil started fighting me too much, so I stopped doing it. Once again, we'll have a shading tutorial another time. Here's an example of one of my paintings using a vanishing point. The vanishing point, of course, being the horizon. This one as well. You can see how things fade slowly into the background. They get smaller as they go. And don't forget to buy my book, or at least check it out. There's a free sample available on Kindle. If you have a Kindle, there's a Kindle app that's free. I'll see you guys next tutorial. Thanks for watching.